Hello and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and the insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today, I'm very lucky to be joined by Ryan of Peak Dental Services. How's it going, Ryan?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being on here. And I'd really like to start this off just by understanding a little bit more about your background, Ryan, and a little bit more about Peak Dental Services.
Yeah. So the professional background goes a little something like this. Finished up my degree in marketing many years ago in Detroit, Michigan. Thought I was going to work in automotive, like research, analytics, marketing, that type of stuff. I did get in on the research analytics side. I worked at a very large agency at the time.
Mm,
And then got stuck in the research analytics. Wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do, but I learned quite a bit and I understood the value really fast
mm,
of the data and what it can do for you to make marketing decisions.
mm,
Fast forward about 8 years and maybe two, three different companies in there.
mm,
Had an opportunity to go over to what people would say like the true marketing side. So had some great bosses, and the trade-off was like, hey, we need somebody to help us with research and analytics, but we'll teach you the marketing, the value prop, and how to put together campaigns and all that good stuff. Had a great run there, great mentor, still talk to him this to this day. And then randomly got a phone call from a headhunter that said, hey, I got this like director of marketing thing for a dental group called Great Expressions Dental Centers.
mm.
And I'm like, never heard of it. Didn't know that there was such thing as group dentists,
Yeah.
but the salary sounded good. So I went over there and interviewed. I hit it off great with Rich, the CEO, who I'm still friends with to this day.
Mm,
And he basically said, hey, run marketing. Like, I'm going to let you sink or swim, do your thing. And that's really how I got into dental. And
mm,
then eventually that leads me to Peak Dental Services because I've been in dental for about 12, 13 years, maybe 14 now.
mm,
And got over to Peak probably about a year ago. I knew AJ Peak, who's the former CEO. He's recently transitioned out of that, now our president. But AJ and I always knew each other in the industry. And he said, hey, I got the perfect time. I like what you do marketing wise. I like what AJ's doing work wise. And we'd move forward. And for people that don't know, group dentistry, it means, hey, we have 60 different dental offices at Peak.
mm,
They're not commonly branded. So they're branded just like any dental office that you see out there in the neighborhood.
mm,
And people like me provide the services to them. Like I run the marketing, my team runs the marketing for all the offices. And then there's IT folks, HR, et cetera. This way, the dentist and the dental staff can truly just focus on treating the patient,
yeah.
making sure care is being done. Like they don't have to worry about HR or any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's such a great benefit for dentists because dentists being incredibly smart people, they've dedicated their lives, they've sacrificed a big portion of their 20s to learning and being experts at one thing. And then it's very common. It's a little bit different than maybe being like in as a physician per se, where you might be able to join a hospital and you can just focus on doing medicine. A lot of dentists, the common path was go to dental school, graduate, and then go either work at a practice for a little bit and eventually buy your own. But then with that comes so many other things. You're not just the dentist, but you're also the plumber, you're the fireman, you're doing everything for the business. There's so much value in having that support. Would you agree with that as well?
It is. I think you're touching on the kind of a core value proposition. We call them dental support organizations. That's what they're known as in the industry. But that's
Mhm,
essentially the core value prop. And you're right. Listen, if you're a dentist and you own your practice outright, totally cool. Do
mhm,
your thing. But the employee doesn't show up, the pipe breaks. How am I going to market to bring in new patients? They're not going in doing 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. Their day is really long. And that has been very less attractive
mhm.
to doctors moving forward. And all of a sudden they're saying, geez, I'd like to join a group like Peak
Yeah.
Dental Services because you guys can take that burden away from me. And maybe I've been doing it for 10, 15 years. And yeah, there's a transaction and there's cash for them and all that good stuff. But then they get to just focus on the dentistry or on the flip side, you're coming out of dental school, you have a bunch of debt, and you're like, I don't want to do all this like stuff. I just want to focus on the dentistry work, be able to leave the office and go enjoy life, enjoy my family and all that stuff. So it becomes very attractive for the dentists. And that's
Yeah.
really why these dental support organizations have just been growing at such a rapid rate these days.
Yeah, definitely. And you were when you were brought in to revamp marketing efforts, what key elements did you identify as missing or ineffective, and how have you transformed those into some successful strategies?
Yeah, it's a good one. So whenever you look at a dental support organization, a dental group, as a marketer and you're coming in, so I call this concept MOPS, right? So like we typically talk about the marketing funnel and how to generate leads and all that stuff. So the first thing we always want to do is look at where's there inefficiency. But what I'm really calling MOPS is marketing and operations.
Mhm.
And so my belief is today marketers really we have to know that funnel top to bottom. And in our dental world or healthcare, if you will, but dental specifically, it goes like this, right? Hey, how do you generate the lead? Who's answering the phone or the form fill, the chat, whatever, who's scheduling them, do they show up? If they
Mhm.
do show up, what type of the treatment that the doctor's presenting, does the patient get the care that they need, et cetera, and all the way at those different points, you can have leakage in that funnel.
Mhm.
So first joining peak, that's the first thing we took a look at is, geez, like where do we have leakage? And you do that by data, stuff like that. You're gonna look at the tech stack, and then you gotta start getting into things like, geez, okay, I've been in the industry a while, so I know the benchmarks of this is like where you generally should be.
Mhm.
What can we do to fix it? And then at that point, you're going to do a couple things, right? Hey, this vendor maybe you're working with is not very efficient. Maybe they're not doing the best campaigns. Maybe they didn't set the tracking up right. And you go to a board meeting, you're like, I can tell you how many impressions we got, which no board ever cares about. They want to know, did you get what's the cost per lead? Did our new patients increasing? That type of stuff. So we work with like Cardinal Digital Marketing, who was already there. They're doing a good job. We brought in brick and mortar digital marketing that does a great thing with their campaigns and everything else, the Google side over there. And
Mhm.
then we work with companies in the AI space we started to implement. We've done a couple different ones. We're doing like videos through it, and we're going to be piloting Pure Logic, which is like an
Mhm.
AI software that can listen to the phone calls. You can tell you whether it's done right or not. If you missed a new patient opportunity, they can, if it's a missed call, shoot you a text automatically, instantly communicates with them. So in dental, your missed call rates go from 30% down to next to zero. These individuals, through this Pure Logic software, can schedule directly into the practice management software. And people like that because more appointments are getting on the books
Yeah.
and it's helping the office run smoother. So that's, that big answer. But like when we looked at marketing, like that's what we had to fix in year one.
I love that you said that because that's something, when we work with dentists, it's rather than saying, hey, you should go spend a bunch of money on marketing and try to make something work, you should look back at what's your speed to lead or what opportunities are you already missing out on? And that's one of the biggest ones is like how you get in and you're seeing these leads that are coming in that are going unanswered 10, 20, 30 minutes. That's like your number one opportunity right there to increase. So I love that you said that. And that's such a great problem, I think, that AI is solving, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And like agencies like yourself, right? Like you guys are smart, right? Because, hey, great, let's figure out this lead component because you just nailed it. Hey, if it's sitting there for 30 minutes, if that's a form fill, good luck trying to get that person on the phone later. And
Yeah.
there's software, like I said, you can turn that form fill into it connects to a live agent in less than 60 seconds.
Mhm.
And then there's other tools that you can start putting in place. And let's just be honest, right? We all have smartphones and stuff. If you call the dentist and they don't answer and you're looking for a new dentist, what do? You just go on the list to the next one, whether that be through your insurance directory or you're on Google.
Yeah.
Hey, who can get me in today or this week when I need to?
Mhm.
So yeah, dentists, they got to be responsive to it. And once you figure that out, then great. Build awesome campaigns,
Mhm.
some fresh messaging, get the social media and all that stuff going.
Mhm.
But you're not going to be very successful if you don't have a nice, good, positive ROI going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, so for people that are unfamiliar with organizations like yours, would you say it's pretty unique in what you guys do in the terms of you guys focus on marketing for dental practices that are within the organization, and you're responsible for marketing for yourself to new dentists to join? Is that kind of how it works?
I'd say peak dental services, they're unique in their own way. But
Mhm.
what you just described of, hey, as a dental support organization, you're providing the marketing, or maybe you're trying to market to find dental practices to go by, or maybe marketing, you're trying to find doctors, hygienists, dental assistants to come work here. I think a lot of dental support organizations, offer a variety, a flavor of that support to their doctors in the offices that they affiliate with.
Mhm.
It's not all marketing. Like I said, it's HR, it's IT, it's recruiting, operations, etc. That's what dental support organizations do.
Mhm.
The question is, I think that, like us marketing at peak, hey, are you like, so like when you sit in any room with marketers, like, great, you came up with a campaign, but are you truly effective with it? Are you hearing from your internal stakeholders, like, generally good news, or are they complaining a lot of the times?
Yeah.
And I always think like that's the difference with like good marketers in this space.
Mhm. It's a really good point. And so you on along those lines, you mentioned that you love working with clients who are open to asking for help. What characteristics do you look for in a dental practice or team that's ready to embrace innovative marketing approaches, or even maybe HR, maybe whatever it might be?
Yeah, I think, listen, if you look at this dental space, let's say, just like overall, and you're like, there's tons of dental offices throughout the country, and there's tons of what we call, again, these DSOs, large ones with 300 locations, some
Mhm.
like us that are 60, 70 locations, and some that are like 8 locations. Like every single time I've talked to them or met with them or consulted with them, I call it get a peek under the hood. That's how you know they're going to be a good client, because you're going to say, look, I get that you've probably been hit up by a lot of agencies or
Yeah.
marketing consultants, etc. And they've probably sold you some stuff over the years where you're like, I don't know if I ever got my money out of this. Like it was a waste of time, and they're frustrated with it. So
Mhm.
I always tell them, like, hey, if you can give us a month and you're willing to share data with us, let us get a peek under the hood. And
Mhm.
then we can kind of tell you, we can diagnose that for you. I
Mhm.
can quickly figure out, is your cost per lead broken?
Right.
Is your campaign's not set up right because the tracking's not in place? Are you getting a horrible direct mail return? God bless you, you're running broadcast TV, but maybe you should really be doing stream, or
Yeah.
maybe you're in an older area and maybe broadcast might make a little bit of sense, but you don't have any tracking on it. When you have those conversations, you can see their eyes will either open up or they'll close, because
Mhm.
they'll say, yeah, you're nailing it. Like my missed call rate is 30%, and you're telling me that's horrible. And it is. You want like 8% or less.
Right.
All of a sudden you say, we can help you with this. We have a track record of it.
Mhm.
Let's work together on it. And a lot of times, most of the doctors and the dentists and the hygienists, like, they're cool. They're saying like, hey, listen, like maybe they have a couple thoughts and you got to steer them. Like, we're not on AOL dial up anymore. Understood it worked for you great 15 years ago, but it's just not as simple as get a keyword, plug it in, and everyone's going to come into your office for dental implants now.
Right.
Uh, there's other things we got to do here, Doc, and we love you, but let us guide you through this.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. And I think that's something for not only dentists, it's also something for clients if you're a marketing agency. It's how receptive are you to change? And can we actually make an impact? Can we look under the hood and see if there was this huge push, I think, 2017 maybe, where all these marketing agencies were going after dentists, the dental practices specifically. Everybody wanted dentists as clients because they usually had a lot of money they could pay, and it was like easy marketing. And what happened a lot of times, I think, or during that period, is a lot of dentists got burned, unfortunately, and it gave them a bad taste in their mouths for marketing agencies. So I think your approach is great in terms of, hey, we don't know if we can fully help you yet. Let's take a look under the hood first and just make sure that we can, right?
Yeah, and just to add to that, and I think you're spot on. It's like right around that time frame. Like when you talk to most of them, it's usually in that digital marketing bucket where they've gotten like really frustrated.
Yeah.
And I tell them, or I'll say this if I'm on stage speaking or something like that, I'll say it's, with used car salespeople. There's tons of digital marketers out there, but who do you know you can trust?
Yeah.
And so what I always tell them is, listen, if they're talking impressions and clicks, and they're going to give you some dashboard that says you got 2,000 impressions, you got 55 clicks, and you're looking at the end of the month and you're like, I don't have enough new patients. I still have chairs that are open.
Mhm.
That's the problem. My belief is a good digital marketing vendor will help you make sure the tracking's in place. They're going to help you test it and vet it. And they're going to say to you, hey, look, I can report out maybe not the treatment at the bottom because that gets into your CRM and stuff, but
Right.
I can really tell you how many phone calls you got, how many form fills you got. And by the way, I've worked with some CRMs. I'm happy to help you start to plug this together so
Yeah.
that we can track further down the funnel for you. And let me go in before I kick off the campaign. Let me go call your office and test it, and let me submit in some form fills So those are the vendors I've seen do very good over the years. The problem is it's a very small audience.
Yeah, definitely. Really good point. Ryan, this has been great. I love learning about Peak Dental Services. Seems like you guys are doing some awesome work over there. Where can people learn more about you and where can people learn more about Peak Dental?
Yeah, peakdentalservices.com. You can go there and learn about our organization. And we are going to ramp up our social media and stuff like that this year. So that's the easiest way to find out about Peak. Great company, growing. So if anybody has any interest in it, totally makes sense. Me personally, go to my LinkedIn, Ryan Torresan, can find me there. And then my Gmail, it's just first name, last name at gmail.com. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for being on.
Great. Thank you for having me.